Good morning, everyone. This was going to be kind of rambly and ranty and etc. What had happened was somebody had expressed concern over the editing of my last presentation, The Coddling Age, and I'm not going to name names. It's somebody who was acting with good intentions, who thought that I might be smearing somebody who didn't deserve it. But it is also somebody who's been around long enough to know better. The person in question seemed chiefly concerned that I didn't mention anything about Stephanie Walsh's play therapy. In the Daily Extra interview, at the end of it, she talks about the play therapy, and I didn't talk about that. And so we're going to talk about Stephanie's play therapy here. Well, before we talk about the play therapy, let's talk about Stephanie's convictions in 2009 for uttering threats and assault. And this was an event that directly predicated her divorce. You can't say that. You don't know that. You don't know the details of the case. You can assault anybody. Well, that's true. I don't know the details of the case. But I do know that Stephanie's wife and two of her children testified against her. And this is an interesting case because, the MRAs can look at it like this is the courts unjustly convicting a man so that the wife gets sole possession of the kids. And the SJWs can look at this as a case of the courts unjustly convicting a trans woman because transphobia. But both of these points of view ignore the possibility that this was a case of a man being convicted of a crime that he actually committed. All right, the play therapy. Let's talk about the play. Well, before we talk about the play therapy, let's talk about the wife. Stephanie likes to throw the wife under the bus, paint this picture of a horrible, bigoted, transphobic person, hates trans people, etc. But also talks about how his wife would buy him women's clothes and support his lifestyle and even cover for him when he was playing dress-up. But she's still a horrible, bigoted, transphobic person. The play therapy. Let's talk about the play. Well, let's talk about what he did as a trans person. Because as a trans person, he got a job as a counselor at, some trans counseling deal. Not exactly sure what it was. He got fired from that job because he liked to make everything about him. His client struggles were about him. The suicidal thoughts that he had as a white trans person were somehow front and center beyond the murders of darker-skinned trans people. It was all about him. The play therapy. Let's talk about it. But before we talk about the play therapy, there's one thing that I did get wrong. I did assume that Stephanie's kids were still kids, but apparently they are all grown. And when the oldest daughter got married, she reached out to Stephanie, invited Stephanie to the wedding, on the condition that Stephanie toned it down and allowed the spotlight to be on the people that were getting married. This was such an outrageous request. It was so demanding to ask that Stephanie share the spotlight with anybody. Stephanie responded by attempting suicide on the day of the wedding. The play therapy. Before we talk about the play therapy, Father's Day. On Father's Day, one of Stephanie's daughters reached out to him and said, "Happy Father's Day. You can text me if you want. I'm not comfortable taking a call, but we can text." Stephanie responded to this text, quote, "I'm going to kill myself. Bye." So much for somebody who's not hurting his kids. The play therapy. All right, let's talk about the play therapy. This person thought it was a little suspicious that I didn't talk about the play therapy. What I find suspicious is that Daily Extra didn't really talk about the play therapy, because what I'm mostly curious about the play therapy is how they know when to transition from the part of the play therapy that involves Barbies and crayons to the part of the play therapy that involves having sex with the adopted parents. Somebody asked me why anybody would allow Stephanie Walsh to play with their grandchildren, and the answer is obvious. They're having sex with him. The adopted mommy is a divorced polyamorous nudist. That was also conveniently left out of the Daily Extra interview. Stephanie met the father on FetLife. And the father was first entranced by the avatar of Stephanie, this little girl with her hands clasped looking up and praying. That was what first attracted the daddy to Stephanie. And when they met in person for the first time, they had sex. Stephanie said that it made her feel like a woman, and recounting the story to the interviewers gave Stephanie an erection. So, I know I didn't tell you the whole story when I released my last video, but honestly I didn't think I needed to. But now that I've done a little bit more research, I think you can see for yourself that objectively Stephanie Walsh is a disgusting, horrible, terrible person who doesn't deserve to be praised or lauded as a courageous individual. This is a disgusting, terrible person who doesn't care about his actual children and would rather play dress up with kids. Now, I don't want any of you out there to get any crazy ideas about mounting an uprising against Aldus, because I think this presentation just proved to you that I'm the Colonel for a reason.